Today, we will be reviewing the DT Watch 10 smartwatch. A $35 smartwatch with a very nice display, smooth animated watch faces, a built-in compass, and the ability to store music directly on the watch. However, it does have some drawbacks. Welcome to the Gadoga Mix channel. Before we continue, let's do a quick unboxing. This is the 10th anniversary edition, so it's named the DT Watch X or DT Watch 10. A strap, a magnetic charger, the DT Watch 10 unit, which already comes with a screen protector applied. To turn it on, press the lower right button. I pressed it incorrectly earlier, so it didn't turn on. Alternatively, you can turn it on by attaching the charger. I will start by discussing the interesting features or the advantages of this watch. First, the display is really great. The images are sharp, the colors are vibrant, and the bezels are relatively thin. Additionally, the animation on the watch faces is smooth. There are quite a few animated watch faces that I like, especially those with a mechanical watch style, which I find very appealing. You can turn on the screen using the raise to wake feature. It can also be activated by double tapping the screen or by clicking the button. There are quite a few watch faces that can be stored directly on the watch, and we can add more directly on the watch itself. If that's not enough, more watch faces can be added from the Wear Pro app. We can also create custom watch faces using our own photos with several customizable settings such as style, color, text position, and the information to be displayed above or below the clock. However, there is no option for an analog clock. The screen responsiveness is quite good and navigating through the menus is smooth, although there is occasionally a slight lag when switching screens. However, it's not disruptive. For those who like to show off, we can set the main watch screen to stay on continuously without turning off. To do this, go to the screen off settings and select timeout off. Then turn off the screen brightness feature, which is actually the raise to wake setting. We can also adjust it through the quick settings if we plan to use it frequently. By doing this, we can keep the main screen on all the time. Hopefully, this feature won't be removed in future firmware updates. Unfortunately, this watch doesn't have an auto brightness feature, even though there is an A symbol in the brightness settings. For the always-on display, which is called idle clock on this watch, there are several styles to choose from, as seen in the video. The idle clock can be set to stay on for a few minutes all day or at specific times. When the idle clock feature is active, the raise to wake feature automatically stops working. Another advantage is that we can store music files directly on the watch. It has a capacity of 32 gigabits, equivalent to 4 gigabytes, with an effective usable capacity of 3.26 gigabytes. If an MP3 song is about 4 megabytes in size, we can store over 700 songs on the watch, which I think is more than enough. To listen to them, we can connect the watch to TWS, true wireless stereo, or Bluetooth headsets. In my opinion, the sound quality is good compared to other smartwatches that can connect to TWS. The sound has more bass compared to competitors, and I like that. However, the Bluetooth headset connection feature has some drawbacks, which we will discuss later. We can also control the phone's media player, as shown in this example, along with the speaker quality of the watch. There is a voice recorder feature, which is very useful for those who often get sudden ideas. We can view and listen to the list of recordings directly on the watch, and they can also be transferred to a PC. Unfortunately, the format is .pcm, which means it can't be played directly on a PC. It needs to be imported and converted using an application like Audacity, for example. The microphone quality is decent, and at least the sound can be heard clearly, although on my watch there is a slight noise. Here's an example of the sound quality after being processed in Audacity.
Tes recording di DT Watch X atau DT Watch 10.
Before we get into the drawbacks, let's talk about the design and essential features of a smartwatch. The design is similar to the Bittenfruit smartwatch Series 9, although not exactly the same. The included strap is quite good and comfortable, although I never really liked this type of strap. The straps can use Series 9 or Ultra ones as well, like this example with an orange strap. It looks quite good. The watch has a curved display, which gives the impression of thinner bezels. The watch measures 39 millimeters in width and 46 millimeters in length from lug to lug. It is 9 millimeters thick, which is considered slim. Including the sensor, it's just under 12 millimeters. It weighs 55 grams, which is not too heavy but not too light either. It still feels comfortable when worn. Here's how it looks when worn by me. For health features, it has a heart rate monitor that functions normally, but there is no alert feature if the heart rate is outside the normal range. The blood oxygen feature also functions normally, with red and green LED lights illuminating when the blood oxygen feature is active. The blood pressure feature is just for variety. As long as a smartwatch doesn't have an air pump, the blood pressure feature is definitely just an estimation. There are several sports modes to choose from, as seen in the video. You can set goals based on time, calories, distance, or steps. Although there are multiple sports modes available, the data that can be recorded is all the same, as seen in the video. Even for yoga, it tracks steps, which might indicate a new type of yoga. The accuracy of step counting while running is quite good. Compared to manual counting, sometimes the result is higher, sometimes lower, and occasionally it's exactly the same, so it's pretty decent. However, for step accuracy when walking, I've tested it several times, and the differences are quite noticeable. Some workout history can be viewed directly on the watch, and can also be synced with the Wear Pro app. There is a compass feature that functions normally. To send notifications from the phone to the watch, you need to set it up through the Wear Pro app. When a notification comes in, the watch will vibrate. In my opinion, the vibration strength is a bit weak, but if the watch is worn properly, it's still noticeable. There is no option for quick replies to WhatsApp messages or other apps, but the message display is quite easy to read. However, you can't read the entire content of the message. This smartwatch supports Bluetooth calls, and for some Samsung phones and iPhones, it also supports WhatsApp calls. When there is an incoming WhatsApp call, the watch will vibrate, and there will also be a ringtone. You can answer the call directly from the watch. For those who like to play games, there are 5 game options available, as shown in the video. They are quite entertaining for passing the time. The remote camera feature allows you to take photos using the Wear Pro camera app. It doesn't work with the default camera app of the phone. The battery life is quite good, lasting around 3 to 4 days if you exercise for about an hour daily. If you don't use it for exercise, it can last 5 to 6 days and possibly up to 7 days, with the always-on display turned off. Here are some other features in the conclusion. Just like other DT1 smartwatches, this watch is designed for those who love fashion. With around $35, you can get a smartwatch with a very nice screen and cool animated watch faces. The design, which resembles the Bittenfruit brand, is a plus for some and a minus for others. Personally, I would prefer if DT1 created a more original design or a more rugged outdoor style, but that comes down to individual taste. A drawback of this watch is that the Bluetooth connection to TWS or Bluetooth headphones doesn't work well over a long distance. It works only as far as when worn on the wrist. Beyond that range, it stays connected, but sometimes the music sound becomes choppy. I'm not sure if this issue is only with my product, so feel free to let me know in the comments if you already own one. This also depends on the Bluetooth signal strength of the TWS you're using. As for the other features, like the sports modes, they are decent or just serve as basic features. They function normally for basic sports tracking. At this price range, we usually have to choose which features are most important in a smartwatch. There is no water resistance information for this watch, so I assume its rating is IP68, which means it should be safe for light rain or brief submersion in water. However, it is not recommended for swimming or exposure to high-pressure water, like from a faucet. Considering its pros and cons, I think the DT Watch 10 is still worth buying for those looking for a good-looking watch, not a sports watch. It's only $30 to $40 anyway. As a side note, because this watch can function as a USB flash drive, it can also be used to store secret files to keep them hidden from others or to prevent them from getting lost easily. You can check the purchase link in the official store. It's in the video description. Thank you for visiting the Kadoga Mix channel. I hope this video is helpful to someone, and see you in the next video.